All right, music fans, welcome back. Harmless Dave here, talking real music in real time for a couple of real people out there, just like you and just like me. Thanks for being here, folks. I really appreciate the support. Check this out. Tug of War. It's called Soulfire. This came out a few years back. And one of the best singers that I've heard in a number of years, his name is B.K. Morrison. The album is kind of like a cross between Bob Carlyle and the Doobie Brothers. So those are really good reference points, Dave. Not really. But B.K. Morrison, he's got soul, man. This guy, if I had some deep pockets, I would finance this guy because he's that good of a singer. Again, go check it out one more time. The band is called Tug of War, which if you go searching for Tug of War, you're going to find Paul McCartney's album called Tug of War. For the most part, you won't find this band. Almost every track on the CD is good, but it's B.K. Morrison. He's the man. You know who else is the man right now? Frankie Sullivan from Survivor, the owner of the Survivor franchise, has some choice words for upstart presidential hopeful Nikki Hailey, who just declared that she's running for president. Sorry. Why would you? Nikki Hailey. But she checks all the boxes, Dave. She's a woman. She's a woman of color. And she doesn't really stand for anything. Okay, yeah, sign me up for that. That sounds good, right? I mean, you had that in 2016 with Hillary Clinton. Anyway, Frankie Sullivan is not too happy with Nikki Haley. He tells Billboard magazine that after Nikki Haley walked out to announce her run, they have the song playing in the background, and they were playing Eye of the Tiger. And Frankie Sullivan is not happy about it. And he told Billboard magazine that his initial reaction was, "Stop using my effing song." Wow. And this guy is serious. You know how I know he's serious? Because he sued Mike Huckabee back in 2016 for doing the same thing. And Frankie Sullivan won. He got $25,000 suing Mike Huckabee. Here's a comment from Frankie Sullivan. He says, "I don't care who it is. I don't think it's appropriate, especially with Tiger, since it is a special song. I have no idea why any politician would play that as a walk-on. I would say you would have to have balls, but in this situation, that doesn't apply." All right, touche. Good job, Frank. See, I'm not a big fan of Frankie Sullivan because, he's got the franchise and it's one of my favorite all-time bands, and he's really not doing anything with the franchise. He could. After the death of Jimmy Jameson, something could have happened that was a little more exciting. You've got this amazing catalog and you're just kind of sitting on it, But hey, that song getting played somewhere right now. But that band, a lot more depth than just the one song that they play over and over again. Yeah, they play some other tunes by Survivor, but a very impressive band. Let's not forget about Jim Peterick, who I think gets a co-write on Eye of the Tiger, and one of the great songwriters of the rock era. We just lost Burt Bacharach, who is one of the great songwriters of all time, period. Ask Elvis Costello what he thinks of Burt Bacharach. And Elvis has written some very interesting and quirky and in-depth songs over the years. And he was constantly in awe of Burt Bacharach. And a lot of people think of, Jim Peterick in the same way because he's that great of a songwriter. So this is a special song. What do I think? I don't know. I don't know if politicians should be using these songs without getting permission. Get permission to use the song, and then once you get it, make sure you got something in writing, so nothing gets challenged legally. Because I know for a presidential campaign, $25K, someone would say, well, that's extortion, because this guy is raising funds for his campaign, and now he's got to use some of those funds to pay off this musician who's ticked off because you're using their song. Well, I think you got to get permission. Another interesting thing is that Sullivan says this song belongs with the Rocky franchise. You know, I can't really argue with that. And these campaigns don't ask because they'd get a no. Absolutely, he said, they would not want them to use the song. And the reason is because the song is so iconic, and it is featured in Rocky 3, just an amazing movie. If you remember, going back to 1982, 83, and that time frame, the song means a lot to a lot of people. And I will say this, that when politicians take it and use it, at least 50% of the people, maybe more, will be turned off because they're thinking, oh no. I mean, I remember when Bill Clinton was out there using Don't Stop by Fleetwood Mac. And I forever, unfortunately, associate that song with that campaign and that person, Bill Clinton. And it shouldn't be that way. It just should be, hey, it's a great song. If it's in a movie and that movie does really well, I mean, even movie soundtracks that didn't do all that well, some of the songs, though, end up being iconic, even if the movie was kind of a bomb. And in this case, both the movie and the song were just off the hook fantastic. So in any event, my advice, if you're about to launch a presidential campaign, Nikki Haley, anybody else, you might want to steer clear of playing a song like Eye of the Tiger without getting permission. And I think he makes a good point about Nikki Haley. Anatomically, he makes a point, but also, what does Nikki Haley stand for? I mean, we had that in 2016. Her name was Hillary Clinton, right? So we're going to bring in the Republican version of that, and she checks off all the boxes and so forth, but she stands for nothing. She'll give the money to Ukraine and wave as the money gets put into accounts over there. Anyway, folks, a lot to unpack all the time when it comes to music and politics. I really appreciate people watching this channel. I'm grateful each and every day. This is Tug of War, Soulfire, BK Morrison. He's the man. You got to go listen to BK Morrison. One of the great singers that I've heard in, I don't know, a very long time. And I thought after that album, people would be ringing his phone off the hook, but that didn't happen. So in any event, it's out there to listen to if you want to give it a go. Thanks for being here. Don't forget about Patreon and YouTube memberships and subscribing to the channel. You know, just doing my routine here at the end of the video, folks. Very brief, very succinct. Thanks for being here. See you soon.